Hello and welcome to this training session for QQ Evolution. Today we're going to be covering the Mailroom and QuickWord. So we're going to show you how you can do mass mailings and also how you can create your own letter templates. So let's go ahead and get right into this. This up. All right. Now when you come in here, it already has some defaults set, like it automatically has the dot, the bullet next to print letters and so on. So how do we do this? How do we do bulk letters? So let's say we're going to do letters. We're going to have bulk, we're going to have the dot next to letters. We need to first off choose a date type. Okay? It goes by different date types. Are you looking for binder date, effective date, bill date, birth date? Okay? Are you looking for X dates? All right, so it depends on what you're looking for. So let's say we want to do renewal letters. So if I'm doing renewal letters, I'm going to look for people that are, policies that are expiring. So I'm going to look for the date type expiration date. Now, client status. Do I want to go for all my clients? Just actives, inactives, or prospects? What would I like to do? Well, I'm going to go ahead and let's choose active. Policy status. Am I looking for all my policy types? Or am I looking for just pending, active, pending and active, or expired and canceled? Well, just in case, maybe somebody for some reason didn't put in a policy number, make a policy active or something like that, I'm going to go ahead and cover my bases by choosing pending and active. You're going to either use probably active for doing it, but I'm going to cover my bases. How do I want to sort it? Would I like to sort it alphabetically or by date? Alphabetical is fine by me. Now here's where we choose our letter template. We click the drop down. Here's a list of our available letter templates. We do provide you one that says for renewal expiration. Of course, you can create your own. It'll be listed here. So I'm going to choose renewal expiration. All right, and what agency? If I have multiple agencies, I can include to have them on the letter, have these letters done for them as well. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. Now, let's go over here. What date do we want to use? What am I looking for? So I don't have very many clients in here, so let's go ahead and let's do 010109 through, let's do 050110. Now remember, I know this is maybe a strange date range to use for basically for half a year, or actually a whole year and a half, but I don't have hardly any clients in here. Generally, you guys are going to be doing this month to month. So generally, you're going to be looking for, by now, it's late in the month, so you might be doing the month after that. You might be doing May's letters. Okay, because these are renewal letters, you got to get them out, get them out or email them, mail them, or email them to the client. So I choose my date range. Underneath here, we have our print email options. Now, they're basically self-explanatory. We have print to printer only, which of course will only print the letters. And these other ones have to do with emailing as well. Now, you have the ability to email your letters. Where does it look for that email address at? You have to have the email address entered on the client screen of the client. The screen where you enter all the information on the client, their address, their name, social security number, and so forth. There's a place there for email address. You have to have it listed there in order to be able to email here. And as I said, these are self-explanatory. Like this one here, it says email if address is entered, otherwise print to printer. So if it finds the address, it's going to go ahead and email it. Otherwise, it's going to go ahead and have my printer spit it out so that I can go ahead and drop it in the mail. We can also choose, if we just select this, it's going to put the letter as the actual body of the email. If we want, we can have it as an attachment instead if we would like. So you can check mark that and they would send the letters as an attachment instead. You could also choose to use the garage address instead of the mailing address if you wish. Okay, you can't pick and choose on this. You can't say one letter I want mailing address, one letter garage. You would have to do these, in like bunches. Like these people you want to use the garage address, these people you want to use the mailing address. So you can use a garage address. So now basically I've chosen everything I want here on this screen. Generally this will probably be enough for you. Okay, there are a couple other things others showing here, like use cross-marketing in the queue, and I'll show those in a second. This is generally probably going to be enough for you, but maybe you'd like to take it one step further. So up here on the upper left, you see we're on the first tab, General Info. We can switch to the Filters tab, and we can filter by all these items. Now maybe I'm generating these renewal letters, and I only want to do my own. I don't want to do all agents. I just want to do mine. So what I do is I click the drop down here and I choose only my name if I'd want to do that. So now it's only going to look for clients who match the criteria I entered on the first tab and who has this person listed as the agent on their client screen. So we can filter by all these things. We can filter by the source. You can filter by The optional additional coverage is also by the policy source. You can filter by zip code if you want. Maybe there is a rate decrease or increase in a certain territory and you need to send them out letters informing this. Well, you can do that. You can do it by zip code. You can also, as you see here in the middle, these look a little bit different. These are filters as well. But you can see here, if you click the drop down, I can choose all, or I can click this and choose one line of business. Same thing with all these listed here. But line of business and coverage and so on, you can tell these are actually buttons. So if I click on it, it's going to allow me to choose up to 5 items. So maybe I wanted to do auto and a commercial auto. I could do that. I can hit OK, and it's only going to look for those 2 lines of business on my clients to generate these letters. Now you can only choose up to 5 of these. Okay, it will let you select more, but if I hit OK, it's going to give me a message saying, guess what, if you're going to select all these things, do all instead. You can only choose up to 5. You also have these options here where you can choose to exclude endorsements or direct bills. You can have that you want the finance payment due in there. Now, this is very handy, especially when you're doing labels. Do you want one lettered label per client? Okay, especially if you're doing labels. You could have a client with multiple policies meeting your criteria that you're selecting here. And if that's the case, without this check mark, it's going to produce multiple labels or letters for me. And especially labels, you don't want that. You only want one mailing label. So if I check mark this, it will only give me one no matter how many policies that client has. I'm going to leave it unchecked. So now we have our criteria, and I actually want to set this back to all. And I'm going to go back to general info. Now I'm ready. I want to see my letters. So we head up top here. We're going to print our letters now. So you see it's generating letters. I don't have very many. And here are my letters. I only have 3 in here, but now you could have up to, 100, 300, 500, whatever in here. So if you want to look through them before you print them, you can go ahead down here on the lower left, and we have these little keys with the arrows on, the little page keys, and you can look through your letters before you print them. Now, I could, if I wanted to, look through this and print only one of these letters if I wanted. Maybe I don't have time to deal with all this and I want this one for sure, and I want to deal with the other ones later. What I would do is use print this page. It would print only this page, and it would allow me to save the other ones if I wanted to. Or if I wanted to, I could go ahead and print all these out. Now, let's say we did that. We printed only one page, or let's say we don't want to print these right now at all. If I click on the return button, right here it says letters were not printed, print later. Selecting no will delete all unprinted letters. This is the same, message display box that you had received when you saw the training session on the client store and you were printing letters there. So if I answer yes, which means I want to save them, you see it puts them in my queue. Down here is my letter queue and my label queue. This is where any unprinted letters or labels are waiting to be printed. Now, in order to print anything sitting in the queue, I simply come up here and click on Print Unprinted Letters or Print Unprinted Labels. So let's go ahead and generate them, Print Unprinted Letters, and here they come back again. Excuse me, and now I can go ahead and print these out if I wish, or maybe for some reason my queue, maybe I'm looking at this going, I don't know what this is, it's a bunch of junk, I don't need it, and I want to get rid of it. Well, you can empty out the queue, and I click on return again. Instead of answering yes to save them, I answer no, because as it tells you, it will delete all unprinted letters. So I select no, and now it emptied out my letter queue. And so that's how we print letters. Now let's go ahead and take a look at print labels. Let's go ahead and put the bullet next to print labels. The criteria is staying the same, and I'm not going to change it. I'm going to go ahead and leave it the same, but you notice there are some different things showing here. On labels, you had the choice. Do you want it to have last name first name last, insured plus contact? And you see over here to the right, there is an example showing you how it will display on the label. So if I move this from, last name first to insured, you'll notice the example changes because this is the insured I have listed for the client. So it pulls the insured name instead. You can also, maybe for some reason you want labels for something other than mailing. Maybe for some reason you want to maybe create file folders and put labels on them. So here, instead of having the address, you could use, it would put the client's name, and you could have the insurance company, the policy number, you could have the phone number, you could have the file number, you could have all 4 of these, you could have 2 of them, you could have 1 of them. As you see, the example changes along with it, so you can see exactly right here how it's going to print. Okay, so you can do labels for other than mailing if you needed to. You can also choose to have a date type printed on the label. You can choose no date, or since I am doing expiration date, I can choose to have today's date, or I can have today's date and the expiration date appear on the label. It's up to you if you'd like to include that or not. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this criteria the same. And for labels, same thing as letters, we can use these filters from the Filters tab. What we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to generate these labels. So I'm going to click on Print Labels. As you see, here's my sheet of labels. I only have 3 labels, so not much there. Let's go ahead and scroll up here, and here you go. So here's my labels. And now we can choose to go ahead and print these out. Now if we don't want to print these, we can again save these for the queue as well. But I could choose to print these if I wanted to. Click on Print, and it would ask me to put a memo, and then it would allow me to print, because we do want to have a memo on all of our clients when we printed a label out for them. I'm not going to print them. I'm going to go ahead and hit Return, and I'm not going to save them, so I'm going to answer No. Now, one other thing you can do here in the mailroom is you can use the cross-marketing. We have a feature for cross-marketing. When I put a check mark here, another box is going to appear and allow me to make choices. So I'm going to put a check mark here, and here's a cross-marketing box. I don't have many lines of business listed in my account, but here we have show customers with a policy through, and either we can choose all insurance companies, we can click the drop down and choose just one insurance company with this line of business. So I choose this. Now, who am I marketing to? Actually, let me cancel this and let me switch back. Let's do letters instead of labels. Don't really want to cross-market labels at this point here. Okay, so now who do I want to cross-market to? Let's say I want to cross-market to people who do have auto insurance with me. Now to the right, we do this, and without a policy through, again, you can choose the insurance company, and now the line of business. What line of business do you want to market that they don't have with you? So let's say we want to market to people who have homeowners with me, or I'm sorry, who have auto with me, but who do not have homeowners. So I check mark that. And down here we can choose, do we want to do this by expiration date, or would we like to do it by effective date? Would we like to do it for this month? Would we like to pre-select dates? Would we like to do month to date, next year? Would we like today, yesterday? Or would we like to choose our own specific dates? We can also include all active policies for a client with a given criteria, which means it would print out a letter for every single policy that meets the criteria that we have selected. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK here. Now you see this has changed. Over here, I need to select how I want to sort it in my letter. Now, we do provide you with a template, a standard letter for cross-marketing. You can always create your own if you wish. I'm going to select cross-marketing. Now I'm done. I really, you can't filter any further than this because you've already chosen your filters of what you want to do. I'm marketing to my clients. I want to print a letter, try to get the business from my clients who have auto with me, but who do not have homeowners. So I'm going to click on Print Letters, and I only have one. And here's my cross-marketing letter. Okay, so we have, this is a letter that's already created for you. You are more than welcome to create your own cross-marketing letter, or you can always, change ours up if you'd like. So that's how we can do our cross-marketing feature. We'll go ahead and hit return and not save this. All right, everyone, and that is our mailroom. All right, we just finished up the mailroom. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you QuickWord. It up. Now the great thing about this and creating your own letter templates is you no longer have to create letters that are addressed to 1,000 people. Now we can go ahead and you don't have to do dear valued customer. You no longer have to do this to send out a letter to a lot of your clients at one time. Now what you can do instead of this in our program is you can put in Dear, and now you want to address it to your client. You want to make this letter seem personalized. Well, in order to do that, you come over here to the right with the help of our symbols. Up here we have from which category, and we have all of these different areas you can pull information off of the client from. You can pull it from their client screen, you can pull it from a homeowner application, from an auto quote, from the system, from the policy screen, and so on. And by switching these categories, it narrows down your choices. So when you're on all, you're going to see all the choices. If you know where it's going to be at and you'd like to narrow down your choices, you just select it. So now I'm trying to find a hello for my client. I want to say, dear what? What do I want to do? Do I want to do their first name, their last name? What would we like to do? I want to do, let's say, their first name. So I know the name is going to come from the client screen. So I'm going to select client screen, and I'm going to come down here, and here's my symbol, first name. I double click on it, it inserts it in my letter, And there we go. Now what this does is this symbol corresponds to the first name on the client screen. So now when I generate this letter on a client, it would say, Dear Mary, Dear Tom, Dear Paul. It would be addressed to the client. So as you see, it looks like it's personalized when actually it's not. You're sending it out to, say 500 people. Another thing here that is tied to the client screen is we do have a symbol here called salutation I'd like to point out. On our client screen, we have a place marked salutation. It's normally going to be the client's first name, but you could put, maybe whenever you address or send a letter out to your client, you want it always to be the client and maybe their spouse's name. So on the client screen on salutation, you put Dear Tom and Mary. So if you want to make sure that this letter is addressed to people by their salutation, you insert that here instead, and it'll pull that salutation, the Tom and Mary, from the client screen. So as you see, this is very handy. All these symbols correspond with information. Now, when you click on a symbol, double click on it and inserts it, but when you single click on it, over here in the lower left in blue, it tells you what this symbol does. If I click on first name, it says this is a client's first name. Let's go ahead back up here to all. And here we have like bill due date. This is the bill due date from the billing screen. AP reason. This is the reason for an additional premium. So it tells you what these symbols stand for, what information it's going to grab a hold of. Now let's go ahead and let's grab one of our letters already done, and so that you can see what the symbols look like. Let's go ahead and now to open up an existing template, because you can edit existing templates. So you click on open, and it gives you a list of your existing templates. And let's go ahead and let's open one up. Let's actually let's do cross marketing. I know that's got a lot of symbols in it. Now it's asking me if I want to save changes because I had just typed stuff here in this blank area, and I erased it out and didn't do anything. I didn't hit the new button in order to create a new letter, and I didn't save it. So it's reminding me basically, hey, you didn't save what you had there. Do you want to save it? I'm going to answer no. And now here's our cross-marketing template. So you see all these symbols. Here's first name, here's coverages. Now you see this is in bold because we can do things in bold. You see this is in italics. We have all these symbols. Here's my agency's name, my agency's phone. Down here at the bottom we have sincerely, and then where you can sign it, and here it has my agency's name, phone, and email. You will also notice when you create your own letter templates, or you see our existing templates, you never put anything at the top of the letter addressing it to your agency, or do you try to insert a logo here? We showed you in the utility section in training, that's where you can set it automatically to either attach a logo every time you generate a letter, receipt, or invoice, or you can automatically have our program put your agency's information at the top of the letter, along with the client's name and address and the date. So we don't worry about that when we're creating our templates. It's going to be generated when we actually do it. Now some of the things we can do in here is we do have choices right here of 2 different fonts. I will show you where we can choose more fonts. We can change colors. Now this is an already open letter, so let me highlight something here and we'll show you we can change colors. And also there will be another place you can see more colors. Let's say we want this in red. We can do that. Now it's in red. Maybe we want a different font size. Maybe we'd like to see this a little bit larger. Maybe we want this on 13. And you can change the font. You can also bold and italicize. Maybe we'd like we here in bold. We can do that. Now it's in bold. And we can also italicize. Let's go ahead and highlight currently here and italicize, and now it's italicized. So you can do all that here as well. Let's head up to the top of the screen here. Now what new is going to do is it's going to blank out this screen, and it's going to allow us to create a new letter. So if you're coming in here to create, say, like 3 or 4 letters in a row, you create it, save it, hit new, blanks it out, you can create your new one. Open, as I showed you, it opens your list of existing templates. Save is, if you're that's just to save a template. Now save as, what this is going to do is maybe this template, you see I changed it, and now maybe I want my cross-marketing letter, my original, but I did this to it, and I'd like to save this as another version of it. I want 2 versions of the same letter. I can do that. I can give it another name. Let's just do cross 2, and you save it for whichever agency. You choose the language. Is it going to be English, Spanish, or French? And now it's always defaulted to save as letter, but you can also do fax cover letters and email cover letters. And I can go ahead and hit OK, and it's going to save this letter. Now, what I want to point out here about saving the English and Spanish and French is you can do letters in Spanish, okay? But what you have to first do is create the letter in English and save it. So I would here save it and hit OK. Now what I do after that is I have to create the letter again because the program can't translate it. So you have to create the letter again, only this time you create it in Spanish. And when I go to save it, I select the Spanish area here. And right here it says select the letter name. So I'll click the drop down, which I have nothing there. And it will show you your existing letters, and you would select the one that corresponds, the English version. Like if I had saved the cross 2, I would click the drop down and choose cross 2. So then what happens on my client, if my client on the client screen, I can mark their primary language, is it English, Spanish, or French? And if I had marked the client's primary language as Spanish, and I went to print this cross 2 letter, the program would automatically bring up the Spanish version of that letter for you. Okay? Let's go ahead and hit cancel here. We also have delete. Everybody remember, delete is permanent. Okay, when you hit delete, it does give you a warning. Are you sure that's what you want to do? So make sure that's what you want. I'm going to go ahead and hit no here. We also have an advanced editor. I'm going to open that in just a minute. Over here to the right, we have all these little buttons here, and they have the letters with the accents on them for the foreign languages. So if I click here, and if I click on, let's say this E here, as you see, it inserts it wherever my cursor is. Okay, same thing here. So these insert wherever your cursor is. Over here we also have copy and paste buttons. This is for copy, this is for paste, and this little blue check mark is a spell check. Now you are able to, as I just mentioned, copy and paste. So if you have letters that you are currently using and you'd like to get them into QuickFile and use them in QuickFile in our new QuickFile version here, you can do that. What I would do is I would open up my letter and I'd highlight the body of the letter. You know, you just take it, highlight the whole letter. And then what I do is I would Control C. Control C stands for copy. Now, for those of you who are accustomed to doing right-clicking, copy and pasting, that is not going to work. You have to use your keyboard shortcuts. So you highlight the body of the letter, click on your Control key and the letter C key, C as in cat at the same time, that stands for copy. Now you'll see nothing happen, but it did copy it. Then you'd come in here into QuickWord and have a blank screen and make sure your cursor's in here and do a Control V as in Victor, and that stands for paste. I don't know what genius decided V stands for paste. I don't know. I guess P was taken already. But it's Control V as in Victor for paste. It will paste a letter in here, and then you can save it. You can even insert our symbols on it if you wish, and go ahead and save it. Now you have that letter for use in the program. Now we also have an advanced editor. Let's see if we can get this to open up here. I have to move it up a little bit here. Sorry about that. Now, the advanced editor, what this allows you to do is more things. Like I said, we had more fonts. Here are more fonts, more font sizes. We also have the bold, italicized. We have the underline. You have more colors here. And we also have a spell check here as well, of course. So you can go ahead and change this letter up. Let's come down here, and I'm going to just do L's all the way across here. All right, so I put L's there. Now, what would happen is I don't have to save this now at this point. What I can do is I simply just close this. You'll see it brought back to the original screen the edit I had made, and then I can go ahead and save it. So we do have Advanced Editor for your use if you need it. I think that it pretty much covers about the letter section. Now, one other thing though I do want to show you. I'm going to hit New here, and no, I don't want to save the changes. I don't want to edit my letter. You sometimes are going to run into a case where you'd like to create a letter and you want to be able to edit it on the fly when you're on the actual client. So what that means is you're on the client, you generate the letter, and you're like, oh, hey, you know what? This is actually my neighbor down the street. I'd like to add a couple notes like, hey, how you doing? How's your vacation? Well, you can't do that unless when you create your letter templates, you insert one of two symbols on it. There are two different symbols. Let's go ahead and I'm going to shortcut it here. We have preview. Double click on it. What preview is going to allow you to do, and you can insert it anywhere in your letter. I would just probably throw it in at the end when I'm done. What that does is when you then generate the letter on the client, it will allow you to edit any part of that letter. You can add to it, you can delete it, you can change something, but you have to have had that symbol inserted on it when you create the preview or when you create the template in order to be able to edit it on the client. So the symbol preview allows you to do that. Now I would recommend to people, sometimes you have a need to create a quick note to a client, and so then therefore you don't need an actual letter template for it. So I would recommend to people to come in here and insert this letter, this symbol preview and go up here and just do save as and give it a name. Let's give it a blank letter and hit OK and save it, because what that's going to do now is now you have a blank template, so you can open up a letter to a client, type up whatever you want. Whatever you type there, of course, that letter, that copy of that letter will be saved in our letter section on the client, but the template's untouched. It's still blank. You know, templates are always untouched. They always remain the same, so you can always use them over and over again. We do have one other symbol to be able to edit letters on the fly, and that is type info here. The difference between the two is exactly what it says. Type info here. The purpose of this will allow you to edit any part of the letter just like preview does. But the purpose of this is, let's say you were typing up a letter and there's a piece of information you're going to need to manually insert on that letter every time you do it. It's some kind of information that's not available in the program and you're going to need to manually insert it. So what you would do is you would type up your letter. I'm just going to type up some garbage here. Type up your letter, and where I come to the spot that I need to insert that information, I insert my symbol, type info here, and then I keep going ahead and typing up my letter and I save my letter. So now when I'm on my client and I open this letter up, you're going to see the symbol type info here, and the first one will be highlighted. You type in your information. If you have another symbol type info here as well in the letter, you'll be able to click a button that says go to the next one, and it'll take you there. This will save you from trying to leave a blank spot and trying to figure out how many spaces you need to leave to be able to type your information in there without it looking odd. Okay, this is very handy. As I said, it will also allow you to edit any other part of the letter. And that is our QuickWord. Pretty handy. It's pretty nice. This is one of the features I really like a lot in the program because you can do a lot with it and it saves a lot of manual labor. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the dashboard here. And no, I don't want to say we covered the QuickWord. Now let's just quickly, we're going to go through the forms drawer here. The forms drawer here from the dashboard are simply blank forms in case you need them. You can open them up, you can fill them out and print them out, or you can open it up and print out a blank one. No client's information will appear on it. It cannot be emailed, and it will not be saved on any client. It's not associated with a client. These are simply blank ones in case you need them. And you have the same options here, seeing the state you're in, or you can see all states. And you just go ahead and double click on it. It opens it up. As I said, you can print it out blank, or you can fill it out and print it. Again, this form will not be saved anywhere, nor is it associated with any client. That's the big difference. All right, that wraps up covering the mailroom, QuickWord, and the forms drawer. All right, everybody, have a great day, and please make sure you listen to all the webinars that are available on this program. Take care.